The Environmental Protection Agency has been leading the way to make information about outdoor air quality as easy to find and consume as weather forecasts. After all, local air quality affects how we breathe and live every day, and it can change drastically from day to day or even hour to hour. You're about to be shown when you are prone to high ozone in this week's Earthbeat.
Often there's confusion as to actually what air quality means or poor air quality means. So specifically it has to do with what US EPA has defined as criteria pollutants. So these are chemicals that are formed both naturally and as a result of man-made emissions in the atmosphere. So they include things like ozone and fine particulate matter and coarse particulate matter. People often confuse air quality with pollen or biologics, and that's actually a separate category. So when we say air quality, we actually mean chemicals that are formed in the atmosphere or are released directly into the atmosphere that people inhale.
Okay. Dr. Amy Huff has a background in atmospheric chemistry and air quality meteorology and is one of 3 forecasters here in the Penn State Air Quality Forecast Office. Now, within the state of Pennsylvania, you may be thinking that you have never heard of an air quality alert before, or on the other hand, that it seems like a frequent summer occurrence. That's because air quality does not behave the same way everywhere.
Air quality tends to be much worse in urban regions because there's more emissions of the pollutants that create poor air quality, and so that's where most of the focus is in terms of forecasting and observations. So the Pittsburgh area, the Southeast, so that includes Philadelphia, and then the Lehigh Valley and the Susquehanna Valley. Those are the locations that typically see the worst air quality in the Commonwealth.
Ozone is a photochemical pollutant, meaning that its formation is dependent on a chemical reaction between molecules and light. It is a highly unstable and reactive compound, and within moments of its formation, it tends to react with something else. It is when ozone forms faster than it self-destructs that high levels start to become a problem. So what weather patterns promote poor air quality?
The weather patterns we look for are your heat wave-like weather patterns. So we want the pollutants to be able to accumulate. So we have to have light winds and a shallow boundary layer, so we're trapping the pollutants in a small volume. Also, we need it to be very sunny. So if there's any kind of clouds or thunderstorm development, that will shut off ozone production. So we want very, very sunny skies, clear skies, high temperatures promote ozone formation. So that's typically, you have a strong ridge of high pressure, slowly moving surface high pressure, very light or calm winds, and then strong subsidence or sinking air that'll help limit the vertical motion of the air mass.
The EPA has developed an Air Quality Index, or AQI. It is a color-coded scale that is used by forecasters to communicate current and future ambient pollutants, such as ozone, to the public. In the order of worsening air quality, the scale goes from green to purple. Code green and code yellow are safe for everybody.
But when we get to code orange, that's called unhealthy for sensitive groups. And sensitive groups are children, the elderly, and people that have existing cardiovascular or respiratory diseases like asthma. And so that's pretty much the first level where an alert is issued, and so the public really needs to kind of pay attention to that. And then above orange, we have red and purple, and those are generally dangerous for everybody.
So why do you need to be concerned about elevated levels of ground-level pollutants? Well, ozone and fine particulate matter both can significantly impact the respiratory system.
So ozone actually reacts with the mucous membrane to the respiratory system and causes irritation, and over longer exposures, actual damage to the respiratory system. And PM 2.5, fine particulate matter, has very similar effects, but in addition, the particles are so small that when you inhale them, they can actually cross from the lungs into the bloodstream, and then they can pass through, obviously, the rest of your body as well and cause damage. age. So really the sensitive groups are the people who are most at risk. And again, those are children, the elderly or senior citizens, and people that have existing cardiovascular or respiratory diseases that are exacerbated by exposure to these atmospheric pollutants. So if you can avoid strenuous or extended outdoor activity, that's really going to be beneficial to you.
On days when low-level ozone is expected to be dangerous, there are several ways to stay informed or to receive the air quality alerts for your location.
So there's a national webpage that's run by the US EPA. It's called airnow.gov, and that has both the current conditions and the forecast for the entire United States, including Hawaii and Alaska. And then also Pennsylvania has its own state webpage. So if people Google Pennsylvania Air Quality Partnership, they'll find that state page. And so that has the same information, but it's tailored specifically for Pennsylvania. The National Weather Service watches and warnings pages will carry the air quality alerts. Also, if people have smartphones and they have any sort of weather app, the alert will show as a banner, similar to like a severe thunderstorm warning or a winter storm warning. You'll see an air quality alert on your weather app.
The good news is that in the past decade, between stricter emissions testing for automobiles and a substantial trend of power plants converting from coal to natural gas, the number of poor air quality days has actually gone down.
So in the Mid-Atlantic region and in Pennsylvania, for example, we rarely see code red air quality anymore. And in the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't seen purple at all.
We can all help to keep the trend toward fewer ozone action days going by reducing our emissions of the chemicals that go on to form ozone. Two of the simplest are waiting to gas up your car in the summer until after sunset or combining as many errands as possible into a single trip. For Weather World, I'm Ben Reppert.